Tesla stock bulls are raving about this good Tesla stock news. Emmett says it's a big deal for demand increase. This is all about Tesla offering an 84-month financing option. The bulls are certainly very happy with this. Customers that will choose an 84-month financing option will be paying 11% less every single month compared to the 72-month option. By the way, if you get a Tesla in Canada, you can get a 96-month loan. The good news does not stop here. Tesla has just secured a $155 million contract to install 78 megapacks in a new energy storage facility in Australia. This would be an equivalent to about 3,000 deliveries if each delivery was $50,000. And because we have news like this seemingly multiple times in a week, that adds up to quite a lot. And remember how energy margins improved by 67% in one quarter? The energy gross margins are good. When Tesla will announce multiple new megapack factories in the future, that will be bullish. Look at the amount of energy that Tesla deployed this year already compared to the last year. I think there's a clear trend. If you don't look at it carefully, you would think that 2023 already ended because the chart sort of just continues naturally, but this is only the first 2 quarters. And yet, we don't hear any analysts pretty much talking about Tesla energy when they go on TV. This is a big deal and most people will miss it. We also got more positive updates from South Korea. From the moment the Model Y launched just now, seemingly the number of orders is now 22,000, which is significantly more than the total number of deliveries in South Korea in all of 2022. I certainly don't expect 1,000 new orders every single day going forward from South Korea because this was largely due to a launch, but this could continue for a little while, which could contribute somewhat noticeably to Tesla's deliveries. However, if you live in South Korea, the bad news is you will need to wait for 3 to 6 months just to get your hands on this new beautiful vehicle. Maybe Tesla should hurry up and produce more vehicles in Giga Shanghai, which is of course exactly what we are doing already. And more good news for Tesla. Tesla has now added a state EV incentive search directly onto its ordering pages in the US. You just type in your zip code and it tells you exactly what all the EV incentives add up to. So no more guessing. For example, in Colorado, you get $5,000 just from the state alone. We got a new Cybertruck sighting. This time 2 of them together were seen, but this is where it gets really interesting. Check this out. This is another Cybertruck, but it has a different wrap. This is a little hint that maybe indeed you will be able to have multiple options and you maybe will be able to wrap the Cybertruck in different kind of colors as well as patterns. While it certainly does look interesting, a regular looking Cybertruck remains my favorite by far. I would certainly be surprised if these camouflage wraps would actually make it into production. I think these are not going to be production wraps, but you never really know. What is certainly quite possible is that if Tesla indeed is able to do these wraps on mass scale, then this could be a very profitable part of Tesla's business. Assuming that Tesla can somehow automate the whole process and make it much cheaper than just regular wrapping. Although this one, now that I see a better picture, it does look better than I initially thought. I wonder how it would look like in person. There has been a lot of speculation about Cybertruck specs and which version would launch first. Elon before said that a 4-motor version would launch first, but that was a while ago. Matthew, however, appears to have some sort of inside information, and I think I would trust his judgment. He says dual and try only to start. Roland put together a chart of best-selling vehicles in Europe, and Model Y is clearly number 1, growing 212% year over year. This chart also includes gas-powered vehicles, not just electric vehicles. This is certainly not helping Tesla or any automaker in the US do well in the short term. US auto loan rejections have surged. As you can see here, it is going straight up. And in the last quarter, we still had record deliveries despite all of this. A few months ago, there was a bit of a debate going on about Tesla and battery credits and Panasonic, and how are the battery credits shared between the two companies. And now Zach, the CFO of Tesla, confirmed that indeed it is 50-50 between Tesla and Panasonic. And of course, Tesla gets full credits for 4680 production and pack assembly, says James, which is one more reason that it is important for Tesla to ramp up battery production, because these credits are pretty sweet. Based on the new information from the earnings call, Troy has done some calculations, and he says that the Cybertruck needs a 120 kilowatt hour battery to have 259 miles of range, and a 160 kilowatt hour battery for 345 miles of range. In comparison, he says that the Model Y has a battery pack of 81 kilowatt hours, which gives Tesla Model Y 330 miles of range. It seems to me that Troy is still working through his calculations, so I wouldn't take these as final estimates, but certainly it's something to think about. Troy also broke down how the Gen 2 4680 battery compares to other Tesla batteries. So we have the first gen battery, and that one was only 229 in terms of density, what you can see right here, and the second generation 10% better, but still it is not exactly like 2170, but it's very close. We also have to think about the fact that this is going to be a structural battery, which should overall improve, for example, the vehicle safety, among other things as well. But also remember that there are a lot of things that Tesla can certainly do to increase energy density. ARK Invest just sold 20% of their GM position. I wonder if this has anything to do with Tesla licensing their FSD technology potentially to someone else. Some Tesla stock investors seem to be concerned about what Jim Cramer is saying about Tesla. He said that Tesla and Netflix are two of the greatest investments of all time, and I got nothing, heard nothing at all last night that makes me feel differently about them. It is popular to make fun of Jim Cramer because he makes some predictions that, don't turn out too well for these companies. When he's bullish, sometimes the opposite happens in reality. However, this is an inverse Cramer tracker ETF, and it is down this year, meaning that this year the predictions that Jim Cramer made actually turned out to be profitable so far. In green here, you can see the total battery electric vehicle market share of all EVs in Europe, and it has increased from Q1 to Q2, which is good news. Earlier, Germany fell into a recession, and in green here, you can see registrations of EVs in Germany, and it really slowed down, which also explains Tesla's sales. So this is not just a Tesla thing, this is an EV thing in Germany. In green here, you can see the total market of vehicles in Europe. That includes gas-powered vehicles as well, not just EVs. And here you can see Tesla's market share of that. And then over here, you can see how EVs have progressed so far. And more good news for Tesla stock. We just had an analyst who increased his Tesla stock price target. Let's take a look.
Tesla shares under pressure today, off about 0.3%, adding to its weekly losses of about 7%. But based on your latest call, it sounds like you'd use this 7% decline as a good buying opportunity?
Yeah, I think that's right. Just given the meteoric run-up that the stock has had so far this year, it really wasn't a great setup heading into the earnings release. The bar had been set so high. And so, with the earnings release, although they reported a significant bottom line beat, there wasn't a whole lot in terms of new developments. They reiterated their prior 2023 auto volume guidance, and just not a whole lot in terms of new developments. Margins are under pressure. Obviously, that was the focus of the release. So, we view this sell-off this week, though, as a buying opportunity. And really one of the market's strongest long-term earnings growth stories, we think, is how we view Tesla.
There's just nothing quite like a buying opportunity that really gets me excited. And yesterday after the market closed, I tweeted that it was an overreaction for Tesla stock to go down about 10% in one single day. But years later, I think it will be apparent that yesterday indeed was a buying opportunity. And today, the buying opportunity got a little bit better.
Garrett, not a whole lot in terms of new developments, yet you raised your price target by $15 to $325 from $310. So
That's right.
what makes you more bullish after the report if we didn't get a whole lot of updates?
Actually, we took our rating from strong buy to buy last month after this big run up just on valuation. And we do see some upside still. But it warrants a buy rating, in our opinion, not a strong buy at this point. Really, the lion's share of the gains have happened so far this year, we think. But, we do see some upside over the next 12 months, just not as much upside as we saw before. So, but there's a lot of things that we like longer term in the story. They're continuing to ramp the Austin and Berlin factories. They just started first production of the Cybertruck. We think they'll be debuting a new EV model next year, which some are already calling the Model 2. We think it'll be a smaller coupe model. So there's still a lot of positives. And of course, they have this goal of growing their annual volumes to about 20 million units in the year 2030. That would make them the world's largest automaker in terms of production and sales.
After going through some of my notes from the earnings call, there was one disappointment about the earnings call, and that was no one asked about the Gigafactory in Mexico. What's the progress? What's going on? Nothing. But instead, we had analysts asking Tesla about Tesla's pricing strategy, which has been answered multiple times before, and yet the analysts asked that again. What a wasted opportunity that was. I certainly did not mind the analyst not asking about the refresh Model 3 because that could create an Osborne effect, so that I definitely don't mind, but the Giga Mexico factory update would have been nice to ask about. It's almost like these analysts don't believe in future growth and that the Gigafactory in Mexico is not going to be important and that the next generation vehicle is not happening. And I think to some extent that is actually true. They don't care, or they don't even want to put that into their models in a serious way. They still doubt Tesla. But what is truly mind-boggling, if you look at Morgan Stanley's projections for 2030, you will see that the next generation vehicle is at 1.7 million and the Model 3 is higher, and especially the Model Y is much higher than that. Some of these analysts truly don't expect much from Tesla, do they? But that creates a huge buying opportunity for us retail Tesla stock investors.
Yet they did warn that production would slow down in Q3 due to some factory shutdowns. Are you concerned that Tesla has a demand problem at all at this point?
The demand problem that we really see, it does pertain to EVs, but not necessarily Tesla EVs. If you look at the latest data, and this is from Kelley Blue Book, average transaction prices for new EVs in the US were down 20% year over year in June. And inventories are now at over 100 days supply. Now, the historic average in the auto industry for inventories at dealerships has been around 60 days. So, EVs are actually at 103 days supply at the end of June compared to all vehicles, which are only about 53 days supply. So we are seeing signs of EV market oversaturation, but we're not seeing it as much with Tesla EVs. It's more the other EVs that other automakers are putting out.
Exactly, and that is why the Volkswagen CEO said the roof is on fire over at Volkswagen. And YouTube says you should watch this video next, but if you haven't finished watching this Elon Musk interview, watch this one first. My name is Matt Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.